So you want to bust that rut? You might want to learn to count higher than 4. Hey guys, in today's rut buster lesson, I'm asking you to count higher than 4. And I don't mean we're talking about odd time signatures here. What I'm talking about is taking groupings of notes that are greater than what you usually do, which is usually counting in 4s or in triplets, 3s, maybe sextuplets, but thinking in groupings that are odd, 5, 7, and even sextuplets, but with weirder, different accents. So what I've done here is I prepared a little like mini song kind of thing to show you what I'm talking about. I've got a group of 7, then I've got a group of 5, then I've got a sextuplet group with an odd accent repeat on it. And then I'm going to go over each one of these. I play each riff as like a connector piece in between the rhythm pattern, and I do it twice so you can really kind of hear it well before I move on to the next one. So let's take a look at that and then we'll talk about it. Alright, so in that example track there, you saw that the first riff was a group of 7, and I posted the tab with it. I'm also going to include that below. Let's talk about how I played that and what makes it a little different than if you just played straight 16th notes. Right, you saw it was just a basic pentatonic pattern, and I was playing 16th notes over the tempo and the riff that was happening there. Nothing unusual about that. But what makes it kind of different is that I only go down 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Before I go up again. And when I go up, I just go to the next string. It's just the way I chose to do this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gives me 14 notes, so I have to add that to finish up, so we have 16 notes in the pattern. What makes this sound different when I'm really just playing 16th notes still is that I really accent and accentuate the fact that I'm playing a pattern of 7. So I hit that first note a little bit harder. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. And you can use this in any number of ways. You can string together an actual full scale of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's very simple. You're not learning to play anything that's so much more difficult. It's just that you have to get used to feeling that accent that happens every 7 notes instead of every 8 or every 4. And that's what makes it sound more trippy, and maybe is going to help you break out of the rut of playing samey things all the time. And so the next one that I played in the song is an actual full-on polyrhythm. It's not just built by doing accents. This is a quintuplet, and I actually have a riff of the month lesson with this very same riff on it, which I'll link here. And the important thing to note here is that I'm grouping the note evenly in 5 notes over each quarter note. So if you have a tempo of 1, 2, 3, 4, a triplet would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Eighth notes 1 and 2 and I'm doing 5, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not something that you hear very often. One player I can think of that uses quintuplets maybe is a guy like Eric Johnson, but you definitely don't hear them a lot. So this riff, again, is just a simple descending pentatonic riff. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as a polyrhythm, it's something that's a little bit more difficult to learn to play. You really have to learn to capture the feel of the way 5 notes fit in every quarter note. But once you do, again, other than just that riff I played, and I'm accenting the first note each time. And if you start just figuring out ways to play things that you already play, but break it into groups of 5 and play it in the actual quintuplet, you're going to come up with stuff that sounds different than anything you've been playing before. And so now the third thing I did in here was more common. Sextuplets are something you will hear all the time, especially if you're listening to a lot of shredders. So if I look at the whole sextuplet pattern here, what makes it odd is just the way I group the notes. You're building it based on going back to odd spots and putting accents in weird places or notes that you wouldn't normally do. You know, if you're playing the normal shredder sextuplet thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in there, it kind of follows logic. I'm trying to break logic, so I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going up 5 notes from where I was at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not 6, not 3. It's a weird multiple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then instead of staying with a linear modal pattern, I'm going almost into a box pentatonics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then resolving with a root. So I'm mixing up ideas. I'm mixing up linear to pentatonic. I'm jumping up to notes that aren't the ones you would normally do when you kind of work your way up the steps of the riff. And these are the things you want to think of when you're trying to break the rut and play new kinds of riffs and fills and licks and things like that. Don't always go into patterns that make such symmetrical sense. Try to break symmetry a little bit when you're building your leads and when you're building your fills. And so those are 3 examples that you can take out a million different directions for your leads and for doing different things. You know, you could break into 9s, 11s, 10s, whatever it is you want to do. I just wanted to give you a few examples that I use, and hopefully it'll lead you to many different thoughts of your own. And of course, if you come up with some cool stuff, guys, send me links. I want to see what you're doing. I want to hear it. I'm always hoping everyone's watching these and getting some good out of it. And so that's the Rep Buster for today. As always, guys, keep making great music. I'll see you next time. Hey friends, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It makes the whole world better.